Good morning on this Sunday. Hope you're having a nice weekend. Thanks for checking in with us here at Atlanta News First Plus. Looking outside over a cloudy Lake Lanier. This has been the scene for the past few days, really, for so many of us in the area. Rain coming and going, and it sounds like that rain will remain in the forecast. I'm Megan Packer here again with Atlanta News First Plus. Good morning to you. We will check in with First Alert meteorologist Courtney Jacobazi, get an update on what's happening with the rainy forecast here in just a few minutes. But let me get you caught up on what's making news this morning. We continue to follow the very latest with the frustrations at airports, including Atlanta's airport, after that global tech outage on Friday. It's really just been a rough go of it for so many passengers that are trying to get to their destination. We have some fresh video from overnight here in Atlanta. This is the international terminal at Hartsfield-Jackson Atlanta International, where you can see long lines overnight as people are trying to figure out what's going on with their flights. People are sleeping in the terminal. Some people are trying to find their luggage and figure out what's going on. Still frustrations with people trying to rent cars if they're trying to go to that as their plan B. So it is just really troubling times for a lot of these travelers. According to FlightAware.com, here are some new numbers we just got in. 274 flights into and out of Atlanta have been canceled today. 413 flights into and out of Atlanta have been delayed. Many of them are Delta flights, Atlanta's hometown airline. Now, nationwide, here's a look at the numbers. 994 U.S. flights have been canceled, and more than 1,800 flights nationwide have been delayed. So this is, of course, something that we will continue to monitor, continue to keep an eye on what's happening at the airport. Again, this is all stemming from that global technology outage on Friday that really just affected so many computers and computer systems across the country, not only airports, of course, but everything from 911 centers to government agencies to hospital systems. Even the billboards in Times Square were down. So this was so far reaching, and it could be days and weeks for some industries we're learning to recover. Another headline we are watching here in Atlanta is this. There is a group, a watchdog group, that is suing the state election board, and it is all about a meeting that was held this month. The group American Oversight says a meeting the board held July 12th was illegal because very little public notice was given. 3 of the 5 board members held the meeting. They say they had to do it if they wanted to keep decisions made at an earlier meeting from that week about requiring hand counts to match voting machines and to change how elections are certified in the state. Now, some are questioning if the meeting was legal because not everybody was there and one member appeared virtually. The lawsuit is asking the court to enforce the Georgia Open Meetings Act and undo any actions taken at the July 12th meeting and impose civil penalties for the board members who took part. There is a church in Pike County that burned days ago. Look at this viewer video from Chad Baker. Beautiful old church just up in flames. This is in Pike County. And this congregation is still worshiping, though. They are still gathering right now on this Sunday morning after this devastating fire. But they are taking their service outside. Firefighters think lightning hit the steeple of the historic Zebulon United Methodist Church, causing it to go up in flames. The mayor and pastor say they do plan to rebuild the more than 200-year-old building. They were able to salvage some things from inside, and that outdoor service is happening right now. We have an Atlanta News First crew with them, so you can look for their report tonight. But they have tents set up out in their parking lot, and it was raining earlier, but that is not stopping them from getting together to worship this morning. More changes are coming to the ACT exam. Remember taking that one? Maybe you have a teenager in your life getting ready for this one. Starting in 2025, the ACT will be shortened from 3 to 2 hours. The price to take the test will also be reduced, and the science section will become optional. The ACT CEO says the goal is to let students focus more on their strengths by giving them more time to answer each question. And changes also happening with the SATs. The College Board announced earlier this year the SAT will be digital and an hour shorter. The math and reading sections will be split into 2, and students will get the results back in a few days instead of a few agonizing weeks as they wait for those results. Here is something happening in Atlanta today. It is the annual Peach Fest. We are talking celebrating everything culinary and fun beverages with Georgia's favorite fruit, of course, the peach. The founder of this organization and the festival says that chefs and bartenders get so excited about the fruit when it's in the peak peach season. So he invites them out for this celebration, and then you get to go out and reap the benefits of it. Look at this little preview video here that we're checking out. Peach Fest is at the Peachtree Center Plaza. If you want to go, you do need a ticket. VIP tickets are $130. They'll get you in an hour early at 3 o'clock this afternoon, and then general admission is at 4 o'clock for $95. You know that food will be delicious. All right, well, thanks so much for checking in with us here. Again, I'm Megan Packer, so let me bring in First Alert meteorologist Courtney Jacobazzi now as we talk about the forecast. We are rounding out the weekend. Did you see rain where you are? Did you miss it? It's kind of been hit or miss. We're looking at a very gloomy Lake Lanier right now. So if your weekend plans included getting out on the water, I'm not so sure if that will happen. Courtney, how are things looking, and what's the very latest with this rainy forecast?
Yeah, it's not going to be a pretty day by any stretch of the imagination. So even if you were headed to the lake, probably just not going to be the greatest day. We will see a little more sunshine, I think, today compared to yesterday, but a chance for rain, especially as we head into your lunch hour. I will say the further north you live, so places like Lake Lanier, you're probably going to be a little drier today. We did have a lot of morning rain up in the mountains and the foothills of the mountains, including down towards Lake Lanier and Hall County. But I think for the second half of the day, a lot of the rain is going to set up from Atlanta point south, and we'll talk about the latest forecast model. So we gave you that First Alert Weather Day yesterday to kind of give you a heads up about this pattern that will continue really for the rest of the week. So expect pretty much a copy and paste forecast almost every day over the next 7, and I'll talk about when this pattern could potentially break down here. So what's happening is we had a front continue to move north, and what's happening is that's just allowing more Gulf moisture to get pumped in and give us that really muggy feel. You'll notice as you step outside that it's not feeling very comfortable as you wait for some of that rain, and we do have a few showers and thunderstorms if you're watching this live with us just after 10 o'clock here, moving through parts of Union and Rabun County, also parts of White and Lumpkin County, maybe a stray shower about to move over parts of Lake Lanier up in Hall County near Gainesville. And then we have a cluster of thunderstorms down in Randolph County, Alabama, that's going to push into Heard County within the next few minutes. We did have a thunderstorm that was fairly strong moving through southern Carroll County. That's starting to impact parts of Coweta County. But that cluster of storms out in Alabama carrying some gusty wind, heavy rain, and frequent lightning. I'm not expecting severe weather today, but if any storms fire up through the day today, just because of how much moisture we have out there, they could really carry some heavy rain. And sometimes when they dump heavy rain very fast, that can actually create a rushing sensation of wind, which ultimately gives that gusty wind threat as well. So any storms that develop today, heavy rain, gusty wind will be a given, and of course lightning. So between about now and 11 a.m., so the next hour or so, will be the driest time of day for us. And this is the latest model run from the high resolution forecast model that we have. We call it the HRR, the H3RRR, very interesting name. But nonetheless, we will have the chance for scattered showers and thunderstorms between about now and noon. Now, this model is trending a little drier around 2 o'clock. I'm not completely buying that because we have so much moisture to work with. As we heat up, we're naturally going to have those isolated showers and thunderstorms, but about a 60% coverage of rain today. I think our wettest time of day today will be between around 3 and 7, but this latest run is really hinting that a lot of our heavier rain is going to set up south of the city, so that could favor well for things like the Braves game, things like Peach Fest today. But with these summertime storms, with that front being to our north, it's very hard for models to depict exactly where these storms are going to fire up because there's nothing really steering it. It's all just what we call diurnal heat of the day showers and storms. So models every run are going to look different as they try to figure out where these storms are exactly going to fire up. But just know you're fair game for showers and storms between about 2 and 7 p.m. Today. That seems to be the rainiest time of day. And then anywhere along and south of I-20, this has been pretty consistent. After sunset, we will keep the chance for a few showers and rumbles of thunder. Now, keep in mind, we have gotten a lot of heavy rain, especially in parts of Carroll County, Troup County, Meriwether County, Heard County. And with more on the way, I think that's going to be a spot we need to watch for some localized flash flooding through the day today. Now tomorrow, very similar to today, a few morning showers possible for that morning commute, just something to keep in mind. You might just want to add a couple of extra minutes to your morning drive. Be sure to check in on the roads before you leave, because you know when it rains here, the roads go crazy. A few scattered evening storms as well, with about a 50% coverage of storms with highs in the 80s. Now this front, it's going to stay settled across the southeast for quite a few days. In fact, all the way through this week. And we'll have a low right along it. And essentially all that low is going to do is help kick up more showers and storms. And as we head into this upcoming weekend, it looks like it's finally going to start to fizzle apart, which could lead to a drier trend in the forecast by the time we head into this upcoming weekend. So, we asked for the rain. We're getting a lot of rain. In fact, we could pick up 2 to 4 inches of rain. And we're seeing that pink color in some spots like South Fulton. You could pick up 5 inches of rain. Now, keep in mind, some of these downpours, this is just kind of an overview. Some of these downpours, while it's hanging out over you for about 20, 30 minutes, could drop about an inch of rain just alone in one day. So this is kind of a general idea of what to expect rainfall-wise, but you could definitely pick up locally heavy amounts with the heavy downpours over the next couple of days. But generally, we'll pick up about 2 to 4 inches of rain this week, with some higher amounts possible, especially if you get a handful of those heavy downpours over the next several days. So if you didn't get rain yesterday, you'll have your chance this week. 50 to 60% coverage of rain just about every single day. Highs in the mid to upper 80s through Wednesday, low 80s Thursday and Friday. And it does look like by this time next weekend, we'll start to dry out just slightly, but still remaining unsettled into next weekend with highs in the mid 80s. Warmest day this week right now, 88 degrees on Wednesday. So we're getting a break from the big heat, but we're also getting a lot of rain, which we could use. But hopefully, I think by this time next weekend, I think everyone's going to be ready to get back outside, not to worry about dodging storms of this magnitude at least. I mean, it's summertime, so we're more than likely going to have at least some sort of isolated afternoon storm. But we've gotten a lot of rain recently, so I think by this time next weekend, we'll all be done with this pattern and ready to move on, right? So we'll keep our fingers crossed on that one and keep you updated on it. All right, everyone, thanks so much for spending some time with us for your news and weather this morning. I hope you make it a wonderful Sunday. Keep that First Alert Weather app handy. It'll let you know when rain and storms are on the way. A great tool to have when you're out and about over the weekend. And we will catch you here next time.